Right, shalom, shalom. It's Brother Yatazadak here with Israel. Before I get started, I'd like to give honor and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Kodash. Double honors to the elders and apostles, great millstone. Today we're going to Hosea chapter 8, going to the Hebrew. So Lord, when you're edified, giving all honor and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Kodash. Double honors to the elders and apostles, great millstone. So let's get right into it. It's Hosea chapter 8. And verse 1 reads, to your palette, place the ram's horn like the eagle upon the house of Israel, in order to that on account of which they have transgressed my covenant, and upon my law they have been faithless. Which that word Pashai means transgress. Let's go into that word for hak, which means denoting the roof of the mouth, the palate. Strong's H 2441. Mouth, palate, taste the gums. Mouth itself as the organ of speech. Now it's not denoting taste; it just means the palate or the roof of the mouth, right? The word for taste is tayem, right? So that's what the Lord is saying. He's saying, place into your mouth the ram's horn like the eagle, which is Kanashar, upon the house of Israel, in order to that, on account of which they have transgressed my covenant and upon my law have transgressed. Which the King James Version says, they have transgressed my covenant and trespassed against my law. Let's look at that word ibar. Again, the word ibar is used in a variety of applications. Sometimes it's denoting wrath or anger. At times, in this case, it's talking about transgressing or trespass, right? That way you don't say it twice in the same verse. So essentially it's saying, place into your mouth a shofar like the eagle upon the house of Israel, as in blow the trumpet, in order for that, on account of which they have trespassed my covenant, and upon my law they have transgressed. Right? Verse 2. Hosea 8 and 2. Unto me they cry, O my God, we know thee, Israel. Which is what the Lord is saying. Israel cries out to me, we know thee, O God. Which, let me read verse 1. It reads, Al Hakah Shapar Ka Nashar Al Bayath Yahweh Ya'ain Ibar Wa Bar Yathya Wa Al Dawarathya Pashai Wa Laya Ya Za'akwa Alahaya. or actually this is Aliyah Yadai Naka Yasha Allah, right? What does it say in the book of Matthew that what they actually let's get that precept. Chapter of Matthew, chapter 15. Matthew 15 and 1. Then came to Yahushua scribes and Pharisees which were of Jerusalem, saying, why do thy disciples transgress the tradition of the elders? For they wash not their hands when they eat bread. But he answered and said unto them, why do you also transgress the commandment of God by your tradition? So this is what the Pharisees, the Herodians, which were Edomites that converted, right, to the laws, manners, and customs of the Israelites, which were called Jews during this time because there was a separation amongst the northern and southern kingdom, right? Verse 4 says, for God commanded, saying, honor thy father and mother, and he that curseth father or mother, let him die the death. Verse 5, but you say, whosoever shall say to his father or his mother, it is a gift, by whatsoever thou mightest be profited by me, and honor not his father or his mother, he shall be free. Thus ye have made the commandment of God of none effect by your tradition. So they were, in a sense, overriding the law by their traditions, right? We read in the previous chapters that they set a bound, they cast off, right, those of the nation of Israel, right? They set the bounds, they removed boundaries, right? Which you read in the New Testament, you read uh, when they spoke to Yahushua, they said, why do you eat with the publicans and sinners, right? This was talking about the Israelite foreigners that uh, followed the ways and manners and customs of the Greeks and the Romans, right? Because of that persecution during the time of Antiochus Epiphanes, which you read about in the Apocrypha, where Apocrypha means hidden books, right? So Matthew 15:7, ye hypocrites, well did Isaiah prophesy of you, saying, this people draw nigh to me with their mouth, and honoreth me with their lips, but their heart is far from me. But in vain do they worship me, teaching for doctrines the commandments of men, which you see today, also in these latter days, right? See philosophy upon philosophy upon philosophy, right? Mormonism, Christianity, Catholicism, all these things teach what? Traditions, right? Some of them are intertwined with traditions of the heathens, right? Of the other nations, right? Why? Because it's not of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. The book of the prophet Isaiah says you cannot make this book with any other book. There's no other book that gives you the instructions on what is correct and what is not, right? Any other writing, it promotes confusion, right? So it says, actually that's it for that. But the point is, this is what Israel has done time and time again. They transgress and then they right? They make promises to the Lord. They say, "Deliver us, and we will follow your ways," right? But it was just lip service, right? Like they say. Now there's another one, but let's see. I believe that's in the book of Judges. Uh, so that's pretty much it. We're going to move on to the next verse. Hosea 8 and 3. They've cast off Israel that which is good, the enemy shall pursue them. Which reads, Zanach Yasha'alu Tawab Ayab Yabradapwa, right? So Israel has cast off that which is good. He's talking about the northern kingdom, which is why he placed the Assyrians as an adversary, right? Hosea chapter 8 and verse 4. They have made kings unto themselves, and not of me, princes, and their princes, and that which I did not know of. Their silver and their gold they have made unto them to the idols, in order that they may sacrifice. Which reads, Haba ha Maliakwa Wala'a Mamanaya Hashayarwa Wala'a Yedai Taya Kasabma Wazahabma Ishwa Laham Itazabium Lamayan Yakarath. Right, so the Lord said they have made kings, but not according to my sanction. Let's look at the KJV. Actually, this one explains it pretty well. They made officers, but not of my choice. Of their silver and their gold, they have made to themselves images to their own undoing. So that word itazabium, meaning idols, lamayan, sometimes you read it as lamayan, sometimes as ya'an, meaning in order that, on account of, that they may be cut off, right? So you can say they may sacrifice or that they may cut off. Because either way, it's to their own doing, right? Like it says here. Hosea 8 and 5. It reads, I reject your calf, O Samaria. The fury of my anger is in them. Even until when will they not be able, uh, will they not be capable of purity, right? So the Lord is saying that He will never accept these idols, right? Because what does it say in the book of Deuteronomy that they neither see nor hear nor speak, right? Nor are able to save. Let's look at that word zanach, which it reads Zanach Agal Ka Shamar One Hara Apya Bama Ad Mathia La'a Yakalwa Nakwayan. Shh, be quiet, you know? But that's not what it's saying. That word Nakwai just means innocency, right? That word for purity is actually zakah, as in something that is clear, right? In that sense, right? Purity in the figurative sense. The word for pure is actually tahar, right? Let's look at that word zanach. Strong's H2186, which is cast off, reject to spurn, cast away. Igal just means a calf. Bullock, or like a wagon in certain senses, in certain contexts, right? Here it's used as a noun, masculine singular construct. Even until what time? Lord is saying, until when? It's actually, the answer is never, right? These idols, any idol, right? There's no purity in them, right? It's just vain worship, right? And Yahweh Shem Shai also said, right? One of his names is jealous because, right? Like he said in the Book of Deuteronomy, he will visit the iniquities of those to the third and fourth generation, right? Hosea 8 and 6. Because it was from Israel, meaning the northern kingdom, right? That is the focal point of this chapter, right? The northern kingdom, as in most of the writings in the book of Prophet Hosea. Because it is from Israel, meaning the golden calf, and the transgressions that followed after that. And he, the artificer, made it. And it is not a God, and it is not God. It is because it shall be what is that word? Not shattered, because that word for shattered is parar, meaning broken in pieces, right? Fragmented, right? The word shabab just means to fragment. Another way to say to break, which the actual word for break is shabar. This actually mean. So it would actually say because should fragmented it will be the calf of Samaria, right? So it reads Kaya Maya Sha'ala Wa Hawa Harash Ishwa Wala'a Alahayim Hawa Kaya Shababium Yahaya Igal Shamarwan. Because they will sow, verse 7, because the wind they have sown, and the whirlwind they shall reap. Their standing stalks will not have unto them uh, any sprout, green ears, right? Because that word tazamach means to spring up. So it says, let's go to the blue letter. It says, will not yield a meal, peradventure it yields, as in meal, strangers will swallow it up, right? So that word kwaba just means a stalk, standing grain, right? You got kwamach, which means meal flour. Let's get a visual on meal flour. It's basically ground up grain, right? So you have dagan, which is just actual grain, not grounded up, and then you have kwamach, which is grounded grain, which is called meal or meal flour. Preventure yields, as in grain, strangers will swallow it up. Now that's the word zar, actually means alien, right? The word for stranger is gar. Let's look at that word balai, Strong's H1104. To swallow, to swallow up. So what does scripture say that you will let's get that real quick. Okay, I got 1-6. says, you have sown much, bring in little. You eat, but you have not enough. You drink, but you are not filled with drink. You clothe you, but there is none warm, and he that earneth wages to put it in a bag with holes. Right? Because the fact of the matter is that we are still under the curses of Deuteronomy 28 and 15. Right? So let's do a quick rundown on that. All right, starting with 15 and on down. Curse in the city, or 16, curse in the city, curse in the country. Your basket, your kneading bowl will be cursed, right? So this has to do with particular living conditions, right? I remember when I was younger, one time I went to get some cereal. I opened and I poured the cereal out. There's goddamn roaches in it, right? That's part of now the so-called white man isn't going through those conditions. The so-called Chinese man, right? Because they're not in the same places where the Negro, Latino, Native American is, right? They're in their uppity, right? What do they call them complexes. They got the private entrance. They got the you got to swipe a card to get through the gated communities, right? Verse 18: the fruit of your womb will be cursed, as well as the produce of your land, the cows of your herds, the lambs of your flocks. Curse you will be come in. Curse you will be when you come in. Curse when you go out. Right. Verse 22: the Lord will strike you with wasting disease, with fever, inflammation, scorching heat, and drought, with blight, mildew. These will pursue you until you perish. Right. Verse 24: the Lord will turn the rain of your land into dust and powder. It will descend on you from the sky until you are destroyed. Verse 25: the Lord will cause you to be defeated before your enemies. You will march out against them in one direction, but flee for them in seven. Verse 27: the Lord will afflict you with the boils of Egypt, with tumors, scabs, and itch from which you cannot be cured. Verse 28: the Lord will afflict you with madness, blindness, and confusion of mind. Day after day, you will be oppressed and plundered. No one will save you. Verse 30: you will be pledged in marriage to a woman, but another man will violate her. You will build a house, but will not live in it. Right? Because Jake is not building his own society. He's building the white man's society, the so-called white man, Esau Edom. Right? Says you will plant a vineyard, will not enjoy its fruit. Right? Because Jake is always on the go, always looking for that next right, the next come up, the next promotion, always working, right? No time to actually enjoy the fruits of your labor. Verse 31: your ox will be slaughtered before your eyes, you will not eat any of it. Your donkey will be taken away, not returned to you. Your flock will be given to your enemies, no one will save you. Verse 32: your sons, your daughters will be given to another nation, while your eyes grow weary, looking for them day after day, with no power in your hand. Which you had particular of the northern kingdom, right? The children taken away and right put in cages, right? Verse 35, the Lord will afflict you with painful, incurable boils on your knees and thighs, soles of your feet to the top of your head. Verse 41, you will father sons and daughters, but they will not remain yours because they will go into captivity. Deuteronomy 28:43, the foreigner living among you will rise higher and higher above you, while you sink down lower and lower. He will lend to you, but you will not lend to him. He will be the head, you will be the tail. Verse 45, all these curses will come upon you, they will pursue you and overtake you until you are destroyed, since you did not obey the Lord your God and keep the commandments and statutes he gave you. These curses will be a sign and a wonder upon you and your descendants forever. Verse 48, you will serve your enemies, the Lord will send against you in famine, thirst, nakedness, destitution. He will place an iron yoke on your neck until he has destroyed you. The Lord will bring a nation from afar, from the ends of the earth, to swoop down upon you like an eagle, a nation whose language you will not understand, a ruthless nation with no respect for the old, no pity for the young, right? Just talking about various nations that the Lord sent against the children of Israel, right? For example, I went over the ruthlessness of the Assyrians, right? And um, and this happened time and time again, right? Because these curses, which are actually admonishments of the Lord, are to be performed throughout the generations, right? Let's go to the King James. So the King James Version says, 8 and Deuteronomy 28 and 54. So that the man that is tender among you and very delicate, his eyes shall be evil toward his brother, toward the wife of his bosom, and towards the remnant of his children, which he shall leave. Right? Verse 62, you shall be left few in number, whereas you were the stars of heaven for multitude, because thou wouldest not obey the voice of the Lord thy God, which we're going to touch on, right? Like I touched on previously, the history of the Tainos, right? The Taino Indians, which are the so-called Puerto Ricans today, the tribe of Ephraim, right? Numerous in number, just like the nation of Israel, but they have been diminished, right? But still, the tribes are still many and many and many of the tribes, but there were many and many and many more back then. Verse 64, and the Lord shall scatter thee among all people from the one end of the earth even unto the other. There thou shalt serve other gods, which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, even wood and stone. Among these nations thou shalt find no ease, neither shall the sole of thy foot have rest, but the Lord shall give thee there a trembling heart, failing of eyes, and sorrow of mind. And thy life shall hang in doubt before thee. Thou shalt fear day and night, Thou shalt have no assurance of thy life. In the morning thou shalt say, Would God it were even, and at evening thou shalt say, Would God it were morning. For the fear of thy heart wherewith thou shalt fear, and for the sight of thy eyes which thou shalt see. And here's the kicker. The Lord, verse 68, and the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again, which we're going to touch on that because the Lord said he would send Ephraim back to Egypt, right? So he was once in other parts of the earth, like we read. We're going to go over that again. And the Lord brought him back to Egypt, right? Because Puerto Rico is part of the U.S., right? It says, and the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships, by the way whereof I spake unto thee. Thou shalt see it no more again, and there you shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you, which happened in the 1800s, right? And when Esau Edom put yokes of iron upon the Judites, the Levites, the Simeonites, the uh, uh, um, the Benjamites, mainly Judah, right, which are the so-called African Americans today, right? The Negroes, not the Africans. These are two different distinct nations. One comes from the son of uh, Noah, which is Ham. The other one is the son of Shem through the lineage of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, right? Which is known as Jacob, the Jacobites, right? So it says, He shall put yokes of iron upon your neck, sold as bondmen as bondwomen. Now you had some of them Hamites amongst those that were sold, because Jake sold Jake, Ham sold Jake, and the Arab sold Jake, right? And I went over that before, right? So let's get that real quick. What is that? Bible Dictionary says Ham, the youngest son of Noah, born probably about 96 years before the flood, one of the 8 persons to live through the flood. He became progenitor of the dark races, not the Negroes, but the Egyptians, Ethiopians, Libyans, and Canaanites, right? That's from the Zondervan Bible Dictionary, and this is from Esau Edom himself, right? Because he does his research, right, concerning the various nations and right, how the Judites came to be and right where they were ultimately located, where the lost tribes were located, right? That's what Christopher Columbus used the Apocrypha to locate the 10 lost tribes in the Americas, which are the Native Americans, the Seminole Indians, and the Hispanic tribes. So let's go back to so we got that out the way. And what's this? Deuteronomy 28. Haggai 1 and 6. And says Hosea 8 and 8, Israel swallowed up. Now they shall be amongst the nations like an instrument uh, in which there is no pleasure in it, right? Which is talking about the northern kingdom, right? Because they say that, right? They say basically they all think we're the same, or we're Mexicans. They don't know about, right, the various, right. They don't know that there's Peruvians, there's Colombians, and right. All they know, they just say those damn spics, right, or wetback, criminal, right. And that's what happened to the Northern Kingdom, right? They got cast off. They were strangers in Assyria, right? And now we're strangers in America, Babylon the Great, right? Because they say, oh, all Hispanic people, they're all short and stupid looking. They sound stupid, you know. I had one friend of mine say that that some of the Spanish music sounds like clown, like it's circus music, you know. So that's why it says they shall be among the Gentiles as a vessel where is no pleasure, right? Which reads, Na Bala Yasha'ala Aitha Hayawa Bagawayim Kakolya Ayan Kapataza Bawa. Salakia, just one moment. Slack. So it says Hosea 8 and 9, because they have ascended up to Syria, a wild ass alone by himself. Ephraim has hired lovers, or has placed, it's another way to say hired lovers. Kaya Hama, Aliawa, Alwa, Ashawar, Para'ah, Badad, Lawa, Aparium, Hathanwa, Ahabium, right? Para'ah, wild ass alone. Right, so the Lord separated the head, which is Ephraim, right? Cast them off into the land of Puerto Rico, and the other northern kingdom tribes. They were basically they were cut off from the head, right? They went to the Americas, right? Verse 10. What does Ephraim mean? That he has hired lovers, meaning he's mingled among the other nations, so much that most Ephraimites look like white people, you know. Verse 10 says, even because they have been hired amongst the nations, now I will gather them, and they show sorrow a little bit from the burden of the king of princes, right? It reads, Gam Kaya, Yathanwa, Bagawayim, Aitha, Akobatazama, Wayakhalwa, Ma'at, Ma Masha'a, Malak, Sharyam. So they become higher amongst the nations because people love Jake, because Jake knows how to invent things, right? He knows he's good with lingo, he's good with right, wise inventions or schemes, right? The genes are good, right? That's what the nations. That's what they use Jake for his wits, right? His comeliness, right? Which is why it says in the previous chapter that, right, he grows gray hairs. He doesn't know what is going on, basically, right? That's what America Babylon the Great is designed for, to destroy the so-called Black, Hispanic, Native American, right? Because they know the various ages in which Jake has grown to prominence, right? You got the Moors, you got during the Roman Empire, you got particular Jakes that um, rose to the title of Caesar, right? And eventually said to hell with these Edomites, right? You have Black Wall Street, you have right Black Panthers, the Brown Berets, right? Particular eras where Jake was he was kind of getting back on his feet, and he's smarting up to that, right? Which is why he does now. Esau does his best to create a black brown division type thing, right? Because all you see in the news is right, there's an invasion, there's the Hispanics are invading and shit like that. When that's not even the case, right? Or they try to paint Jake as a damn menace, which is why you got rap music, you got right hip hop artists which are paid to push reprobate behavior, right? All to keep the tribes in a what is it revolving door of a wickedness. So let's look at that Hosea 8 and 10. So it says, and they shall sorrow a little from the burden of the king of princes. Just talk about who? Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, right? Because this is what happened to right. The center figure is Ephraim in in these chapters, in particular of these chapters, right? So it says traditional Taino settlements range from small family compounds to groups of 3,000 people, right? Houses were built of logs and poles with thatched roofs. Men wore loincloths and women wore aprons of cotton and palm fibers. Yada, yada, yada. The Taino had an elaborate system of religious beliefs and rituals that involved the worship of spirits by means of carved representations. Here's the point. It says enslavement. The Taino were easily conquered by the Spaniards beginning 1493. Enslavement, starvation, and disease reduced them to a few thousand by 1520 to near extinction by 1550. Right? The curses, right? Because before they dwelt in places like Cuba, Jamaica, Haiti, Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, Virgin Islands, Caribbean, right? But they got diminished, right? Why? Because they rebelled from Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. But now they are gathered, right? Ephraim to Puerto Rico and the lost tribes to the Americas, Jake to the Americas, which is that place that is mentioned in Revelation chapter 12, right? Let's get that real quick. Revelation 12 and 14. But the woman was given two wings of a great eagle to fly from the presence of the serpent to her place in the wilderness. She was nourished for a time, times and half a time, right? Her place is the interiors of West Africa and throughout other parts of the earth. The wilderness is America Babylon the Great, right? Which is why the Lord said He's going to purge the rebels in the wilderness, right? Because you're going to have says Saint John chapter 4 or 5, some to the resurrection of life and some to the resurrection of damnation, which is spiritual, not actual resurrection. There is an actual resurrection, which will come at the second coming, but that now there's a spiritual resurrection, right? Those who deny the truth, those who accept the truth, right? Let's get that St. John chapter 5. Salakia. St. John chapter 5, verse 25. Very truly I say it tell you, very truly I tell you, a time is coming, and now has come, when the dead will hear the voice of the Son of God, and those who hear will live. For as the Father has life in himself, so he has granted the Son also to have life in himself. Verse 28. Do not be amazed at this, for a time is coming when all who are in their graves will hear his voice. Come out, those who have done what is good will rise to live, and those who have done what is evil will rise to be condemned. Right? So Jake's not doing as bad as he has in the past, but you're gonna have to pick a side, right? Light or darkness, right? Good or evil. The Lord's making Jake choose, right? Why? Because that's just the times that we're in. Let's get Revelation chapter 11. I believe that's no, it can't be 12. Revelation 11:18. The nations were angry, and your wrath has come. The time has come for judging the dead, for rewarding your servants the prophets and your people who revere your name, both great and small, and for destroying those who destroy the earth. It's talking about heathens, 2/3. Dead are 2/3, spiritually dead, right? Let's get that in the book of Proverbs, right? And you have the servants, the prophets, you have those who revere your name, which is a great multitude, right? Both great and small, and for destroying those who destroy the earth, right? That's talking about Esau, Edom. Let's get that in the book of Proverbs. Creation of bed. Proverbs 21 and 16. Whoever strays from the path of prudence comes to rest in the company of the dead. Verse 11, because he has multiplied Ephraim altars to sin, which will be unto him altars of sin. So he says he has multiplied altars to sin, and will be unto him altars of iniquity, which is sin, right? Let's look at some examples, right? And it's talking about Ephraim, the tribe itself, but Northern Kingdom as a whole, right? These are altars of sin, right? These are altars of sin. These are altars of sin, right? Altars of sin, right? Because that's not the actual image, right? The law says do not have images of idols, period, right? We don't go to camp with no damn, right, Yahweh Shai damn altar, right? Or a damn statue, right? We don't got a Yahweh Shai statue in our bedroom, right? I don't even got a picture of Yahweh Shai in my bedroom, right? Yeah, you have some posters that you may bring to camp that depict how he looks versus Caesar Borgia, but that's just for reference, right? It's not for reverence. Verse 12 says, or let me read that. Kaya haraba aparium mazabachath la chata'a hayawa laba mazabach zachabath zabachath la chata'a. Hosea 8 and 12. I wrote unto him great things for my law, but he accounted unto them as a strange thing. Kathab, Lawa, Rabwa, Tawarathia, Kabwa, Zar, Nachashabwa. So I've wrote unto him great things for my law. They were like they were like unto something strange. Uh, he imagined, right, or he reckoned as it something that was strange. It says it will sacrifice offerings unto me. They shall sacrifice flesh. They shall eat it. The Lord will not accept them. Now he shall remember their iniquities, and he shall visit their sins. They unto Egypt they shall return. Right, like I said, Ephraim was right. He's in the PR now, killing and hacking each other up and all kinds of madness. Right. That's talking about Northern Kingdom as a whole. Right, they're back in Egypt again. Right. Doesn't matter if you're in America, Babylon Great, or in the Americas or South America, right? It's not Egypt is a place of straits. Egypt, right? Which that's what Egypt means, straits. Egypt is right a place of being in the lowest state, right? And Egypt is the new Egypt is America, Babylon Great. Those that are coming here, they're coming here for their judgment, right? So read Zabachya, Habhabya, Yazabachwa, Bashar, Waya Akalwa, Yahweh, La'a Ratazam, Aitha, Yazakar, Iwanam, Waya Paquad, Khata'a Thum, Hama, Matazorium, Yashawabwa. So the Lord is not accepting you sitting in damn Catholic church with an idol in front of you, right? You're not even picking up and seeing what the scriptures say. You're just doing what the damn the oppressor tells you at church. Sing, sing, or what does it say? Uh, Basically, you're just destroyed for lack of knowledge, right? And even you have these other camps, right? They're they got their like ISUPK, the professionals. They hire an actual ranch that has actual lamb and they prepare it by hand, right? But their spirit ain't right. Their sacrifice that they're presenting, right, which is a spiritual sacrifice, is off. Sakari, IUIC, right? All you reprobates and your leaders, right? Hosea 8 and 14, and he has forgotten Israel unto his maker. He has built temples, and Judah has multiplied cities, fortified, or fortresses, or fortified. And I will send out a fire upon the cities, and will consume her palaces. Wayashakach, Yasha'ala, Atha, Eshwa, Wayaban, Hayakalath, Wayahawada, Harabah, Aryam, Batazarath, Washalakthaya, Ash, Ba Ayaryawa, Wa Akala, Aramnath Ya. And that happened back then, right? And even now, you got Jake in particular churches, right? All that's going to be done away. Like it says in the book of Exodus, he's going to visit the idols of Egypt, right? Let's get that real quick. Isaiah 19:1, a prophecy against Egypt. See, the Lord rides on a swift cloud and is coming to Egypt. The idols of Egypt tremble before him. The hearts of the Egyptians melt with fear. Exodus 12:12. No, that's not it. Let's get into KJV. For I will pass through the land of Egypt this night, and will smite all the firstborn in the land of Egypt, both man and beast, and against all the gods of Egypt will I execute judgment. I am the Lord. But the Lord is going to destroy these pillars and these standing images and altars that Esau Edom has built, right? Via thermonuclear fire, right? The lake of fire is America Babylon the Great is going to be basically a giant Tesla, right? Now let's look at that real quick. Now I was going to play some videos concerning, right, violence in the land of Ephraim, but you get the idea. I pretty much paint the picture. Them getting taken over and the living conditions, right? You can look that up on your own. But let's get that real quick. All right, and I'm citing fair use, fair use. This is for educational purposes. Fair use is a doctrine in the United States that permits limited use of copyrighted material without having first to acquire permission from copyright holder, right? So this is just for educational purposes, right? This is not for distribution. This is just for educational purposes, right?
Reported to the hospital. It's
Not
unclear
what
if
I'm
speed
looking
was a
for.
factor, but neighbors tell us it's a familiar sound along this stretch of sunset.
You hear the roaring of the engines going by, super fast supercars. They sound like jet engines.
Actually, I can probably find it in the feed. Salakia, just bear with me. Let's go down to Pastor Tahar's page. You see that? That looked like a little something popping out, right? Could have been that spirit that the Lord sent to destroy him. So he was locked in that Tesla and, right, didn't go well.
Now, if that ain't weeping and gnashing of teeth, think about it. Think about it. Inshallah. And during the One West days or even after.
So that's the ultimate fate of 2/3 of you Edomites and you other nations, right? Here in America, Babylon the Great, right? It's going to be it's all going to be on fire, right? You're going to hear so many screams, it's going to be gut wrenching, right? So that's pretty much it. There's Hosea chapter 8, going to the Hebrew. It's Brother Yatazadak, hero of Israel. As always, Lord willing, you ratified, giving all honor and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Kakwadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles, Great Millstone. Kwame Sha'ala, Abad Ball, Shalom.